From AARP and the Ad Council.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the Happy Hour. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary with you. Rico, what's up?
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going fantastic. I've got my wings. 2 more days until I get to finally meet the Broken Chair Trophy. I'm excited.
That's right. We're going
to be down at Muchachos on Friday.
We get to take a picture with the Broken Chair Trophy.
Yes.
That's hype. I wonder if we'll get to hold it.
I doubt it, but I'm going to try.
I don't know. Like, it's just a trophy.
It's not. It's the trophy.
It is
the best damn trophy outside of the national championship trophy in the land.
I said this statement earlier this morning that the college football, the BCS national, the Crystal football that they used to have, 10 times better than the current national championship
100%.
trophy.
100%.
It's on my bucket list. It's never going to happen. So that's why it's on my bucket list.
To hold it.
To hold a crystal ball.
Hold the crystal football.
The crystal football. I don't know. That's just part of it.
Do you think if we work long enough and like we get to the point where like Sipple is, where like the coaches recognize him, and, like the people that work there like recognize him and they know him. If we work here long enough and we get into good standing with the university, one day they have like some media appreciation day. I don't know if they even do that.
I doubt they do that.
And
number
it's just
one.
like
I would ask if Sipple asked, would he be able to hold a crystal football?
I feel like he's had that opportunity.
No way. I don't think he has.
You know what? I'll put $1 on it. He's had an opportunity to hold a crystal football. Okay. We shook on it. You couldn't see it because it was off camera, but you saw it.
We shook on it that Sip has had an opportunity.
An opportunity.
Not that he has. It's an opportunity.
He's had the chance to. Whether he was offered or whether he was in the room and people were just holding on to it and passing it around.
You know, I hate to bother Sip for something this stupid.
But it's necessary.
But just talk for a second here.
Mark? Does Mark have something?
No. Mark's just back here making sure.
I'm just saying, if you get to the point where you're working with kind of hand in hand, lockstep with a university for so long, and you know he's at the point where people know him, people within the athletic department know him. They, coaches poke jokes at him all the time. Like, I'm just saying that if there was any time of like a media appreciation day, which I don't think is a thing, that they'd be like, here's the national championship trophies. You could take a picture with them or whatever. And it's just like, maybe you can hold the crystal football. I don't know.
I feel like that's too.
Is that too far?
That's too far. Maybe you could take a picture with it.
I don't know.
I think that's too far.
You know
Holding it is too far.
Speaking of trophies, you know what's on my bucket list?
Ooh.
Which is, again, never going to happen because this would actually damage a trophy.
Okay.
To eat cereal out of the Big 12 championship trophy.
Wow. What about?
Because it's a bowl.
Here's another trophy.
You have to like tip it sideways a little bit.
Here's another trophy that I would like to hold: the Paul Bunyan axe.
Ooh, Paul Bunyan's ass.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's what it's called.
The Paul Bunyan ass. No, the Paul Bunyan axe. I believe it's Wisconsin, Iowa. No. It's Michigan.
Michigan, Iowa.
No, it's not.
Michigan, Wisconsin? No. Because Michigan State, Michigan play for Paul Bunyan.
Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Okay. There's too many.
Ooh, there are a lot of rivalries.
Every game in the Big Ten is a trophy game, which I kind of like.
Does it?
I want to drink water
integrity.
I want to drink water out of the little brown jug.
I don't know if you do.
I kind of do. Do you know why they have that? I looked into this one.
I do not.
So way back when it was first conceived, I don't remember the year, but that I looked into it. I don't remember that when it was conceived. It was because the visiting team, I don't even remember who it's between, but the visiting team didn't trust the other team to give them clean water.
Little-
So they brought water in a little brown jug. Well, little brown jugs.
Gotcha. Little Brown Jug is a trophy contested between the Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Yes.
The Minnesota Golden Gophers just have too many trophy games.
Do they? They have one with Iowa, which is the Floyd of Rosedale. They have one with Wisconsin, which is Paul Bunyan's ass. They have one with Michigan, which is the Little Brown Jug. They have one with Nebraska, which is the $5
Gee
Bits of Broken
whiz.
Chair Trophy.
Okay, so here are the
That's 4.
Here are the trophy games.
I love trophy games.
Illinois Northwestern, Land of Lincoln Trophy.
I forgot about that one.
Illinois Ohio State, Illibuck.
Oh, the Yellow
The Illibuck's good one. Illinois Purdue is Purdue Cannon Trophy. That seems biased.
Is it the cannon?
Yeah, it's the Purdue Cannon.
Does Iowa get to take the cannon?
It's Illinois.
Does Illinois get to
I
take
don't know.
the
We get to
cannon?
find out when they play.
When they beat them.
When Illinois probably beats Purdue. Indiana Michigan State is the Old Brass Spittoon. That's a good one. Indiana Purdue, Old Oaken Bucket.
The old Oaken Bucket.
Iowa Minnesota, as you said, Floyd of Rosedale. Iowa Nebraska, Heroes Trophy. Iowa Wisconsin, Heartland Trophy. Michigan State Penn State, the Land Grant Trophy. Michigan State Paul Bunyan Trophy.
Just Paul Bunyan.
Just Paul Bunyan.
His axe is sold
Is different.
Sold
It's
separately.
sold separately. Michigan.
Batteries not included.
Yeah, Michigan, Minnesota, Little Brown Jug, Michigan, Northwestern, the George Hewitt Trophy.
Okay.
Minnesota, Nebraska, $5 Bits of Broken Chair.
Hell yeah, even though it's not recognized by either school.
Minnesota, Penn State, Governor's Victory Bell.
Ooh,
That's a good
victory
one.
bell.
That's a good one.
Is it the same as like USC and UCLA? Because that's a cool one.
I believe so.
Because whenever whoever wins it repaints it.
I
But
believe
they
so.
don't scrape it off. They just repaint it,
Repaint it. Just put another layer
which is
on.
awesome.
Minnesota, Wisconsin is Paul Bunyan's axe.
Mhm.
Nebraska, Wisconsin, Freedom Trophy.
Dumb.
UCLA. Oh, they already put the Big Ten Conference rivalry football games on
UCLA,
here.
USC.
UCLA, USC, the Victory Bell.
Hell yeah.
That's sad. Colorado. Okay, so also on here it has the Big Ten non-con rivalry games,
Oh.
and it's Colorado, Nebraska, the Bison Head Trophy, but in parentheses it says lost.
What?
So
What?
Did they lose the Bison Head Trophy?
Who lost it? Did Nebraska lose? Did Colorado?
No. It would have been Colorado.
I need. Well, they didn't play for it the last 2 times that they played for it, because I don't remember it being mentioned at all. So it had to be lost way before that.
Get this. Colorado lost the trophy after winning it in 1961 and were not able to present it for exchange when Nebraska won in 1962.
Of course they did.
Dang.
What?
So Colorado lost the Bison Head Trophy.
There you go. Everybody that doesn't know, now you know.
And it's
another
a
reason to hate Colorado.
It's a straight up Bison Head.
just straight up cut it off of a bison.
Well, I mean, kind of. I mean, it's probably stuffed and
Text us how much you hate Colorado even more now for losing the Bison Head Trophy. 402-464-5685.
we don't even get. There's not even a picture of it.
Honda
I can't
Lincoln
even find a
Hotline
picture
Starter
of
Haven
it.
text line. You know what? It would have been cool if every time Nebraska won it, they painted the horns red.
That would be sweet. I'd be on. I'd be for that.
But no, now you can't because
Dang.
Colorado lost it. And now bison are an endangered species, I still believe. And now you can't, it's not like you're going to kill one and put its head up on the wall and use it again. Somebody should do that. Does anybody have a bison head laying around that we can give to Nebraska
That'd
or
be pretty
Colorado
sweet.
for next year's game?
Is that how those work? They just are gifted,
Are they just laying around? I don't think
and somebody
so.
just gifts it. Okay, so
I need somebody who has
the
a
Bison Head
laying
Trophy.
around.
From 1898 to 1962.
Wow. That was a long-standing I don't get that text either. That was a long-standing trophy.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring this one to the air.
I don't know what it means.
Now this could be a sensitive discussion, and I feel bad.
They texted it
They
in.
texted it in. Unnamed texter says this, and I quote verbatim:
Word for word.
"My former mother is from Colorado." Oh,
There
I
we
disowned my mother because I hate Colorado. Thank you for the
Thank goodness.
clarification.
I had no idea where
we didn't
that
know
was
what
going.
we didn't know what that meant. But I mean, I was like, I
she-
suppose I would disown her too.
I was like, did she pass? She would still be your mother. She would just be
deceased,
just deceased.
just dead.
My former mother. Do you
I
have
got
a new mother?
Yeah, when I was 31, I got a new mom.
Craigslist ad. I need a mom.
That's funny. Okay, so before we begin or continue on to the trophy list, I said this is our conversation right now verbatim. I texted Steve Sipple. Sip, have you had an opportunity to hold the crystal football that they used to hand out to the BCS national champion? He said, I'm holding it right now. And I said, Sip, this is serious.
This is a serious question.
And he goes, I don't think I have.
Never. He doesn't think he's had the
opportunity.
Make sure you put opportunity.
I put opportunity.
In all caps.
I put verbatim.
So text it back right now. Says, so you've never had the opportunity, all caps, to hold it.
Okay, so you've never,
because it's very important as opposed to
had the
holding
opportunity
and
to
just
hold
getting
it.
a chance to hold it. Unnamed texters taking applications for a new mom in case people want a child, a grown child.
All right, a grown child. You should probably put your age in there. All right.
Also, if you give good Mother's Day gifts, because I feel like that's going to be part
okay.
of the
Back to the
application
Big
process.
Ten non-con rivalry games. Indiana, Kentucky, Bourbon Barrel.
Love it.
Iowa State, Iowa, Cyhawk.
Cyhawk. Yep.
Michigan State, Notre Dame, Megaphone Trophy.
Okay.
Missouri, Nebraska. Do you remember this one?
I didn't even know there was a trophy.
Really? The Victory Bell.
Oh,
There are
okay, I
multiple
did.
Victory Bells.
Yeah.
Um.
Okay. Stop with the victory bells. people.
Whoa. There's been 2 trophies lost. Northwestern Notre Dame. the Shillelagh.
That's not been lost. They just exchanged it a couple years ago. Unless that's
I think it's been lost. Because it says it. So, okay, Shillelagh
not the Shillelagh.
trophy lost. All right, here we go. The lost football rivalry trophy for Notre Dame and
Northwestern.
Because now it's been the vibration.
Now it's been the vibration.
Okay, I got to read here.
Raph has held the crystal football or multiple crystal footballs.
Wow, Raph, congratulations.
Raph's done a little bit of everything. So
I have recognized that that Raph just he's able to.
he's just around.
He's just always in the right place at the right time.
Things just happen, and Raph happens to be
They
there.
just fall right into the lap of. Okay, so back to the application or the post for
a new mom.
A new mom. 29-year-old male comes with an awesome daughter-in-law and 2 grandkids. Still gives homemade cards for Mother's Day. Well, not if your mom was dead to you. You didn't.
But he could. He
You
said
could.
he's willing.
You're willing to give homemade cards. So that's a plus.
An awesome daughter-in-law, 2 grandkids.
So any moms that aren't moms that want to be a mom, you can have a 29-year-old male. We'll put you in contact. That'd be an interesting conversation to
Is
have.
potty trained.
Don't have to pay for daycare.
Okay,
Okay, so Waterboy says I'll be a mom. All right, let's do something productive today, Rico. 402-464. I know. There's a lot of information coming out of those segments, those couple sentences and thoughts.
There you go.
402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys.
Can you stop?
It really feels like the walls of this place are really just going to cave in at any moment because of what the work that they're doing behind
I feel like
our
they're
building.
hitting a wall now. Can you not?
I know. A
Goodness
backhoe.
gracious.
You know, I thought about that.
Something's just going to
sit
come
at the
right through that wall.
the production studio chair. I thought, this is the back of the building.
It is.
And there's a chance that if they
Mike Tyson and Jabba Chamberlain are going to hit the floor.
they're going to be done.
It's going to be a problem.
Mike Tyson never hit the floor.
Never.
But anyway, I made my way down to PBA as we have a couple minutes left here. I made my way down to Pinnacle Bank Arena today for state volleyball. And I went to the Bennington, number 4 Bennington versus number 5 Seward Class B quarterfinal. And the reason we went to I kind of stuck around Bennington, they have a Husker volleyball recruit by the name of Olivia Mach.
2024 setter.
Libero. 2024 Libero committed to Nebraska. Jalen Reyes was in attendance for the Huskers. And she finished with 28 digs, 4 kills, or 4 aces, and 4 assists. So a pretty strong day in the quarterfinal match for Olivia Mach. And so
is it Mach or Mock?
Mach is how they
Mach
pronounced
is
it.
how they pronounced it. Okay,
They
just making
pronounced
sure.
it Mach.
I'm not.
I thought it was Mach too.
I'm not questioning you. I'm just that's how it looks to me.
I thought it was Mach too, and maybe the PA had it wrong. There's a chance the PA had it wrong.
Nah, they're pretty good at their job.
So anyway, either way, Husker commit once again, junior libero, 2024, as Rico said, plays for Bennington, number 4 seed. They now advance to play the number 1 seed, Elkhorn North, on Friday at 5 p.m. We'll update you guys on state volleyball as it goes through. But Rico, Nebraska has a big game or a big match tonight against Indiana at home at 8 p.m.
Big match against Indiana. They took care of Maryland, who was one of the best blocking teams in the nation. Swept them, held them to, I believe, 5 blocks, while Nebraska got a 12, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't have my laptop with me, so I don't have the numbers exactly. But facing an Illinois team that is pretty good at service aces. They've got a bunch of jump setters or jump servers, which if you've ever seen anybody jump and serve, it's wild. It's crazy.
Jump serve.
But not like a little hop. I mean, jump serve. It's wild. So they're pretty good at the service line. Nebraska's done a really good job this year at limiting aces for opposing teams. Becca Alec did not get her 3rd straight Freshman of the Week award, but she did have a pretty solid week. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I believe 7 kills in the game against Maryland, to go along with 3 blocks. She had a solid week. She didn't win Freshman of the Week. She had another solid week. They're just trying to build upon what they're doing. Still running a 6-2 with Ani Evans and Nicklin Hames. Kennedy Orr, who technically, statistically wise, is averaging the most assists per set out of all the setters. Hasn't been able to see the court very often, but maybe if Nebraska gets ahead by enough, going into in the 3rd set, or maybe in the 2nd set even, we might even get a little bit of Kennedy Orr action. Sorry, I have a bunch of gunk.
That's right. So once again, it's Nebraska, Indiana. It's Nebraska, Indiana tonight, 8 p.m. From the Bob. To clarify here, just give the stat line of the Husker commit once again: 28 digs, 4 aces, and 4 assists for the libero commit. Olivia Mach or Mach possibly as well, who plays for Bennington High. So, like I said, Jalen Reyes was in attendance. He's hanging out at PBA for the day, watching various Division I prospects and even some Husker commits going on. All right, so once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you. When we come back, I want to dive into a little bit of a Husker football discussion, because there's been a lot of conversations revolving around the quarterbacks, and rightfully so, after how poor Nebraska's offense as a whole, especially Chubba Purdy when he came in the second half, how they performed on Saturday. And Mark Whipple spoke to the media today, and we find out that Chubba was dealing with an injury of his own earlier the week leading up to Illinois. I want to have a conversation, because what does that not only tell you about how this staff feels about Chubba, but also how this staff feels about the guys behind Chubba? Because I think that is more telling, that they were willing to put in Chubba Purdy when he was dealing with his own injuries over a guy that's started a game, that's been here a little bit longer, and kind of how they wanted to run their offense. So I kind of want to have that discussion. 402-464-5685. I want your guys' input on this. Feel free to give us a call on the Honda Lincoln hotline. Shoot us a text on the Starter Heyman text line, or you're always welcome to add your thoughts to the conversation on the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We'll do that next, coming up on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports, or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
October often presents all 4 seasons within 1 month. Are you and your feet prepared for the highs and lows? Stop in now to Brown Shoe Fit for a fall sale. Get $10 to $15 off any regular price shoe over $70. Save on dress shoes, athletic shoes, boots, and even hiking shoes. Brown's has great brands like Brooks, New Balance, Clarks, Hoka, Merrell, and more. Some exclusions may apply, so see store for details. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today for their fall sale, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you can earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Yo, it's the captain, Rashawn Jackson. Join me this Wednesday at Wingstop at 50th and O Street for Husker Sports Talk and, most importantly, wings. That's Wednesday at Wingstop at 50th and O Street, the official sponsor of the captain. Order wings ahead at wingstop.com. See you there.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and Brent Excavating.
Rashawn Jackson for Brent Excavating. Brent's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brent is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brent Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrentExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brent Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brent.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Warm and windy here for your Wednesday. We could see near record warmth as we'll see a high of 79. South winds could gust 35 to 40. A few passing clouds this afternoon, a few lingering clouds tonight, a low down to 58. We'll see a high tomorrow of 75 with a chance of evening thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation.
In August 2020, after the death of George Floyd, Bridget Floyd and other family members established the George Floyd Memorial Foundation in support of the Black community.
It's going to take more than just us as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to make a change.
Fight for racial justice for the Black community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, presented by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico back with you. All right, so lots been talked about regarding the quarterback discussion between Chubba Purdy, Logan Smothers, Casey Thompson. Mark Whipple met with the media today and said something along the lines of Chubba's was dealing with an injury as well prior to the Illinois game. And I kind of want to open up this discussion then a little bit with caution, because we don't want to make this a full 15, 20 minutes of questioning Mark Whipple and whether or not he knows what he's talking about.
We don't want to attack the guy. We just want to get a little clarity onto the decision making behind putting in your, I guess he is considered your backup quarterback who is dealing with an injury himself, as opposed to going with a third string quarterback who has the same or more experience than your backup in playing in the college ranks.
I would say also that Logan has the potential to provide a little bit more of a spark with his legs than Chubba would. And throughout this whole thing, I think we've made it very clear that I was okay seeing Chubba Purdy on Saturday. I was totally fine with seeing Chubba start the second half. That wasn't like, I know there was a big fuss made about how Mickey Joseph must have told the sideline reporter that Logan was going to be their guy in the second half. Then they come out and it's Chubba Purdy in the second half. And the reason for that was because they felt like they needed to throw the ball to stay in that game or get back into the game and eventually take the lead. And that's fine. I didn't care that Chubba started. I cared that we didn't see Logan Smothers for one snap in the second half. That's the part that bothered me. And now
he got the first three snaps after Casey went out, and then you didn't see him again.
It bothered me before today, when Chubba Purdy only completed 3 of 8 passes for 15 passing yards. Nebraska as an offense only had 29 rushing yards in the second half. And it completely looked one-dimensional the entire third and fourth quarter, unfortunately. And at that time on Saturday, we knew that Chubba throws it better than Logan, but it's not like he's immobile. It's not like he's Tanner Lee back there, that he is incapable of running or using his legs to escape the pocket, but it looked like it on Saturday. You had a guy that literally just looked like he was all out of sorts, did not know what was going on, did not know what play was being called or play was being run or what to do with the football. And like I said, it took out all chance that Nebraska had to win that game. And does that fall on Chubba Purdy? I don't think so. It falls on the coaching staff, because you also have to remember that Nebraska had a running back that was running the ball just fine through the first half.
5.1 yards per carry.
And yet, when you bring in a younger quarterback that might not have experience, might not have the reps, the amount of reps the desired reps that you want in practice that week, especially when your starter goes out with an injury and it's unexpected that the guy's even playing, you want to figure out a way to get him in a rhythm. And whether that's running the football, even if Anthony Grant was not averaging 5.1 yards per carry, at some point, you need to look down the line and think, what's going to help Chubba Purdy get into a rhythm so that in the fourth quarter, we're cooking with gas.
I mean, you just get him in the game and you run a couple plays with Anthony Grant just to get Chubba Purdy used to the environment, being on the field, being surrounded by that massive crowd, and being in the moment with Illinois, with an opposing team opposite of you actually trying to come and take your head off. Just give him that time to settle into the game. You never see, if a quarterback goes out, the backup quarterback come in and immediately start slinging passes. And it's a couple run plays to get him acclimated to the speed of the game, because it's different.
There's run plays. There's ways that you can now. Part of the offensive quote unquote scheme that Nebraska runs is figure out a way to get the ball into the hands of your best playmaker and just let him go to work. And that's the scheme that Nebraska operates from under Mark Whipple.
Run some quick hitters.
Which that's Trey Palmer. We'd all agree that Trey Palmer is the most electric and powerful ball carrier on this team in terms of big plays or explosive plays. And that was important for Nebraska to do with Casey Thompson at quarterback. That is important to do with Casey Thompson. Figure out a way to get the ball to your playmakers, in the hands of your playmakers. With Casey Thompson, your starting quarterback in. It is twice as important when your backup quarterback is in that magnitude of a game, in that stage.
And it's not like Chubba Purdy and Logan Smothers back there aren't playmakers in their own right. They were both dual threat quarterbacks coming out of high school. Chubba Purdy was a dual threat, I believe, a pretty highly ranked dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. He ended up at Florida State. Florida State doesn't take, run of the mill quarterbacks, although from time to time their quarterbacks do look a little run of the mill. Chubba Purdy was a pretty highly rated quarterback coming out of high school, if I'm not mistaken, and he was a dual threat quarterback. He had a couple runs in that game. I think he had a run for a first down against Illinois, and it was strange to see later in that game when he just sat back there, didn't really get out of the pocket, and took 2 sacks, maybe on the same drive, where he didn't get out of the pocket. He just kind of stood there and got hit.
The 2 sacks that Nebraska allowed were to Chubba Purdy.
Yeah. Like I said, before, Casey Thompson didn't get sacked in that game. The one hit he took was the one that knocked him out of the game, unfortunately.
And that's kind of been the bugaboo for Nebraska's offense. If you look at it, the sack numbers aren't necessarily appalling. They're not good. They're not appalling like they have been
19 times this season.
But he's been hit. So the hurries, the hits, the general wear and tear on the quarterback. It's been on the level of extreme this season for Casey Thompson. That's been kind of what's been hurting him more than just the sack numbers even. But I guess the conversation or the questions I'd ask, and definitely want to hear from you guys, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Sounds like Chubba Purdy was dealing with an injury of his own leading up to the Illinois game. So now that we kind of have an idea that Chubba was banged up, what are our thoughts with Mark Whipple deciding to go with Chubba Purdy over Logan Smothers? What does that tell you, not only about how they feel and how bad they want to work with Chubba Purdy, but what does that tell you about this coaching staff's opinion and feeling on Logan Smothers and where he's at?
I get the sentiment or the thought process of Mark Whipple. Kind of everybody's it's kind of unfair. Everybody's coming for Chubba Purdy's head because he played poorly against Illinois.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He played poorly. He didn't play very good against Illinois. So to come out and say, oh, well, he was dealing with his own injury leading up to that game, that's why he didn't play as well. Okay, there is that, but also there's the fact that maybe Mark Whipple didn't think about where if Chubba Purdy was dealing with his own injury, which you have told us publicly, he was injured going into that game. You have a third quarterback with collegiate football experience. You have a guy who started a game last year against Iowa and looked pretty good doing it up until, the final quarter when he ended up throwing an interception on that potential game-winning drive. You have a third-string quarterback who, although, people want to make it seem like he can't throw the ball at all, he wasn't that highly rated, but if you go back and watch his high school tape, the dude could sling it.
Well, how about how well was Chubba Purdy throwing the ball?
Exactly.
Like that's what makes me the most frustrated.
And the added threat of Logan Smothers is the fastest quarterback you have.
That was what made me the most frustrated, and now it's even escalated a little bit more in the fact that we did not see Logan Smothers for one single snap in the second half. Not even one. I told AD and Ralph this morning. At that point, at the third quarter, when you realize that, hey, Chubba Purdy's just not getting into a rhythm, we got to figure out a way. And here we are again talking about mid-game adjustments. We got to figure out a way to adjust on the fly and adjust our offense to where it was still a 23-9 ball game at the end of the third quarter. And by no means are you out of that game.
No, you're still right there.
You're fine.
You score once, and all of a sudden Illinois is kind of sitting back like, oh, wait a minute.
And that's where it comes into this thought of like, just because you would bring in Logan Smothers does not mean Logan Smothers needs to play the rest of the game. And I would argue that it's okay if Logan Smothers does not. But to not even have that opportunity, not even to see what the offense or what your offense as a whole could have looked like with a guy like Logan Smothers running the show rather than Chubba Purdy at that moment, when Chubba Purdy, there was enough sample size that he was just not in rhythm. He was struggling and he was banged up, right? And then now to find out 4 days later that there was an injury on top of that, where does that tell you not only about the stubbornness, I think that's an okay word to use, the stubbornness of Mark Whipple to be with his guy, to go with his guys, right? Chubba Purdy and Casey Thompson. But then also where they feel about Logan Smothers and what he could do for this offense when he's in the game.
You gave Logan Smothers one pass attempt, and it was the one pass attempt that Trey Palmer caught. It was the one pass attempt that went for 1 yard. In Logan Smothers' drive, there was one pass, 2 runs, and then a punt. And the second run that was on the third down, it was a 3rd and short. Logan Smothers pulled the ball and was following Anthony Grant. I don't know what happened, if there was a miscommunication or if those guys were supposed to be free. There were 2 guys there. They both ended up getting hit, and that's the play that Anthony Grant was kind of still on the ground for a little bit. They ended up, walked off the field on his own power, but he was on the field for a little bit, possibly injured. And those were the only 3 plays you saw from Logan Smothers. I believe it was 2 runs for him and 1 pass. And that's all you saw.
That's all you saw. And to make matters worse, your running back was averaging 5.1 yards per carry. Now, it wasn't like you were able to run it at will against this Illinois defense, but nobody has. Nobody that Illinois has played has been able to run or pass efficiently against this Illinois defense. And so at that point, when at halftime especially, when we saw flashes of the triple option showing up, that's how you scored your 1 touchdown run, was running the triple option. When you show flashes, and unfortunately in the second half, you don't go back to what was working, that's the frustrating part. Is that once again, we're sitting here after another Husker loss, a loss that, although the scoreboard said 26-9, I don't feel like it did not feel like that amount of a margin.
It felt closer.
I believe so too.
The entire time, as I've said, and I've said it multiple times, I'm sure you guys are tired of me hearing this. If you didn't look at the score and you were just watching the game, you would think it was either tied or a 1 touchdown game.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating to see, because I guess from a program standpoint, now quarterback is another position that we're here once again going, the depth might not be as good as we thought it was.
I don't know if anybody ever thought it was that good.
Well, then it's more of a conversation, I guess, Rico, of it's like Nebraska's filling spots and having the right number of guys, but not the right guys, if that makes sense. Not the right talent, or not developing that talent.
I mean, you had 2 transfer quarterbacks come in, one with experience and one with none, to go over a quarterback who had really no experience either. So you have a guy with experience who's your starter. If he goes down, you got 2 guys behind him with zero experience.
That's the thing, is like, but remember, what makes this even crazier is that you brought in 2 transfer portal quarterbacks.
You brought in, I mean, the craziest is you brought in a guy with no experience. And just put him at your backup, and we're just like, okay, well, we're gonna roll with this, and hopefully our starter doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope Casey Thompson
and then you put him behind an offensive line like this.
Bingo. I agree. Let's go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We got Austin on the line. Austin, what's up?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. Like I said, I think this week, and I think Logan Smothers, I think he should get the start if Casey isn't ready. We saw him in the Iowa game last year, and he did fantastic. He really ran the offense well. So I really think that he would just be a good adjustment for this team. The spark, I think he'd provide a really good spark for this team. And just another comment, it's tough seeing, second year and first year head coaches. You got Sonny Dykes at TCU that, he's 8-0 and 7th ranked in the country. And and you got Josh Heupel doing just wonderful things at Tennessee. So yeah, it's just tough. You kind of wish that things could just happen with Nebraska, but hopefully we can get the right guy in and we can experience that. Thanks for the call.
Appreciate it, Austin. What's even crazier? So Sonny Dykes, as we have a moment here, people would forget that Sonny Dykes went 19-30 at California.
I forgot he was at Cal.
Yeah, he was 19-30 at California, and now he's 8-0 in his first year at TCU. But that's just a little sidebar.
Was at SMU doing big things.
SMU, his record was 30-18. So basically a flip-flop of California.
Huh.
And now he's 8-0 at TCU. But, okay, so back to this Husker football discussion. So Austin wants Smothers to start. What's interesting,
we're kind of burying the lead. Casey Thompson practiced today. He didn't practice a lot, but he practiced today.
Yeah, I would say Nebraska fans should operate under the assumption that Casey does not play on Saturday.
More than likely.
So he's unlikely to play on Saturday.
Whipple said he would make the decision on Friday.
Yeah, I guess.
So you've got another day to see what Casey Thompson has, and another day and a half, and then we'll see what happens.
Here's the thing. This game and these future games for Nebraska, I would say, and you can put Illinois into this as well, doesn't fare well for the Huskers right now. And the reason I say that is because your defense played all right on Saturday, I think. I mean, Chase Brown rushed for 148 yards or 162. I can't remember the exact statistic.
That was
142? 149. Okay, something around there. Less than 150, which is not great that you held him under 150, but considering what you've done or lack thereof, what you haven't been able to do this season as a defense, you kind of grasp at straws and take your wins where you can get them.
The defense played good enough to win.
To win. So, but the reason that I say that these next couple games don't fare well, I don't think they fared well for Nebraska, even if Casey Thompson's in this game, unfortunately, because you have right now an offensive coordinator that's not willing to run the football.
He's not willing to change what he's done for so long.
And look at
which is slightly frustrating, especially in games like this one where you're running back
5.1 yards per carry.
It could have been another breakout game for him.
So then as we go forward here, what are the keys to the game going to be this Saturday? It's going to be the same keys that we gave last week for Nebraska's against Illinois. Run the football, establish a running game, and figure out a way to kind of sustain a drive.
And figure out a way to slow down the running back.
But here's the thing. How much faith do we have in them sending Logan Smothers out there this weekend? I would, if I had to put my money on somebody starting, it's Chubba Purdy.
So not just taking the quarterbacks out of it, would you feel more comfortable in a game versus Minnesota if Nebraska were to mostly pass or mostly run?
Run, 100%. 100% run. Because this showed, what this last game just showed against Illinois, guys, and I'm not trying to be over dramatic when I say this, but what I believe this last game against Illinois showed was that, attention Big Ten defenses, if you take Trey Palmer out of the equation, you win. Because Nebraska was not making adjustments to figure out a way to get your best player the ball. Mm-hmm. Especially, and like I said earlier, you need to figure out a way to get him the ball when your starting quarterback's in, and it's twice as important to get him the ball when your backup quarterback is in.
I think it's more important to involve everybody else once your backup is in.
Well, then, but
Travis Vokalek,
when that's not
Travis
the scheme,
Vokalek
though,
is your biggest target, and he had one.
That's true, but that's why that's where it's like that's not their scheme. It's even more important to show that you have confidence in your scheme and figure out a way to use your, I suppose, strength when the backup quarterback's in to get him into a rhythm. Whether that's jet sweep, pre-snap motion, figure out a way to get Witherspoon off of Trey Palmer. Mm-hmm. Like, figure out a way.
If you're gonna run, if you're gonna run a screen, you gotta actually hit him.
Or if you are going to use Trey Palmer as a decoy, figure out a way to get Anthony Grant involved. Figure out a way to get Marcus Washington, your second leading receiver, involved. Or guess what? You got a big bleeping tight end called Travis Vokalek who had your one touchdown on the weekend.
Running in quicksand.
He did. But it's figure out a way to get a rhythm on offense, because once again, I don't have a lot of confidence, especially if Casey Thompson's out on Saturday. I don't have confidence. This defense could hold Minnesota to 17 points.
This isn't a particularly explosive Minnesota offense.
This defense, Nebraska's defense, might be able to catch lightning in a bottle and hold Minnesota to 17 or 21 points, but I don't know if Nebraska can score over 14.
Minnesota is strangely similar to Illinois. They just don't do things at that high of a level. But you're pretty much playing Illinois light.
There it is.
So,
yeah, I would agree. So it's just kind of interesting. I wanted to get thoughts on kind of where we were at with this whole offensive discussion. We'll continue this throughout the week. When we come back, we will wrap up the show, bring in Nate and Strick for the crossover, talk about who knows what with those guys. We'll be right back on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yo, it's the captain, Rashawn Jackson. Join me this Wednesday at Wingstop at 50th and O Street, where Husker sports talk, and most importantly, wings. That's Wednesday at Wingstop at 50th and O Street, the official sponsor of the captain. Order wings ahead at wingstop.com. See you there.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. It's football season, and that means you're tailgating with friends, or if you're like me, yelling at the TV during Vikings games. Trek CBD has a variety of products that help calm me down during the games, so don't scare my dog. But in the rare cases that I yell too much, there's CBD products for him, too, and all other pets. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Trek CBD has it all at 84th and Internet. Trek CBD done right.
Rashawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brand.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Warm and windy here for your Wednesday. We could see near record warmth as we'll see a high of 79. South winds could gust 35 to 40. A few passing clouds this afternoon, a few lingering clouds tonight, a low down to 58. We'll see a high tomorrow of 75 with a chance of evening thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 9th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people, It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at freedomandlaw.com today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket. Every Saturday morning now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Rico and Nate might have just switched waters on accident.
You take my water?
No.
I think you did. Mine was colder.
No.
How long has yours been sitting out?
Not that long. I just got a new one. Also, I know this is mine because there's a piece of wing in it.
That's so gross.
Or was it mine and you saw the piece of wing?
Why would there be a piece of
and
wing?
wanted the piece of wing?
Why would I want that?
I don't know.
That's gross.
How would you have gotten wings?
I didn't get wings.
Because you never get
you
wings.
You guys have still not gotten me wings.
You owe me wings.
I had this.
I looked at the board. Your name was not on it. Again, we've been over this.
No.
Your name is on there.
My name is on there.
Nate, you owe Rico
I
wings.
think that the bet was with Bach. I swear.
No, there's a new
I
one.
owe Bach wings.
There's another one.
For what?
The Illinois-Nebraska
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
We made that
that's
one.
right. That's right. That's right. I do.
You owe Rico wings.
I do owe you wings because that was the double or nothing. That's right. That's right.
Man was about to default out of
I know,
some
I
wings.
Well, no. Again, I still, in my defense, I don't think that was ever.
Well, that's
with
why we
you.
did. But that's why we did the
fine.
double or
We
nothing.
settled it. We did settle it. I do owe you wings. I owe Bach wings too.
Goodness gracious.
Pretty sure I owe
wings.
Thomas and Lincoln wings as well.
That's fine.
My man tried to default out of some wings.
It is what it is.
There's someone else I owe a beer on the text line too. I need to start paying my debts.
Yeah, you're
We
becoming
get
like Rico.
kneecapped.
You're kind of becoming like Rico in the golf pool.
That is true. Don't even get me started
You
on
don't-
that
you
golf
don't want to be Rico in the golf pools.
I don't make the bets.
We haven't done a golf pool. Well, okay. When
I refuse to enter another golf pool.
I'm not entering
I
them
refuse.
anymore.
No,
I refuse.
Rico's Rico's not entering them.
anymore.
So we
I
all
hope not.
so
I'm
the
gonna
people-
I'm gonna do my own paper and just write names and give it to
So
Jake.
yeah, so the real people that are responsible
Thank you.
will be involved in the golf pools. But we haven't done one of those in a long time. So we got to figure out. Hey, Strick,
Did Strick enter? Did you enter the golf pool?
I don't think we've
I
had
did
one
not.
since Strick's been here.
No.
Strick hasn't been.
Strick would
living
have
in
paid his
Lincoln.
debts.
Yeah.
Of course. But no, I was not involved. I was only in the pick'em game that they just integrated me into.
Yep.
What is this?
We our weekly picks. We do a way cooler version than you guys.
We do.
You like Strick's picks?
No, not Strick. Do you like Strick's picks or our picks?
I like both.
No, come on, Strick.
He likes our picks.
I'm
We have
impartial.
We have
Strick-
two special things part of our picks.
Yeah, that nobody else does.
Nobody
But
else
we
does it.
actually put money on the parlay.
We do actually put money on there where I'm
It hasn't hit yet.
Well,
so go figure that. Right?
Do you just
We
do,
also-
do you,
yeah.
do you just do money line?
No, we do the spreads.
What-
Really?
Yeah, we
What
each put
games
a
do you-
dollar.
What games do you pick?
We do the 10. The 10.
Oh
so
my-
Strick's picks
So you
is
gotta
10.
have a 10 leg
So
parlay.
it's a 10 leg parlay. We put it in. It hasn't hit yet.
Oh, that's
Has it even
We do
come
the-
close?
We went 7-3 the one time.
One time.
We do the worst. We do the worst spreads. The ones that
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
would pick. We do the largest spread of the night for college and for NFL, and then we just pick games that nobody.
For-
They've not in your right mind.
Yeah.
You would not be betting those games.
For example, Nevada at San Jose State. San Jose State was 24.5-point favorites.
Take Nevada.
Strick and I put Nevada.
Yeah, take
Took
Nevada.
Nevada.
Absolutely.
Nevada
all
lost
day.
by 7, so it's fine.
Nice pick.
That's what
Yeah.
we do.
What did you take, Rico?
You
I
know
took
what he
San
meant.
Jose. I didn't know either one of them, so I took San Jose State.
Cover
So
the 20.
that's-
Don't take a spread
Take
that
the points.
big.
We
Yeah.
know now why.
Why not?
Rico's
Okay.
record
Well,
is
no.
worse
You say
than
don't take a
his.
spread that big. I've taken Georgia to not cover spreads
Yeah.
that big, and
Yeah.
they've damned me every time.
or
every
Ohio
time.
State.
Well,
if I
Ohio
pick
State's
them,
the one. They
Ohio State is
No,
a
if I-
lock
the rule.
every single week.
if I pick them,
agree with
they
that.
don't hit it. If I don't pick them, they hit it. They just won't.
So it's just unlucky.
They won't agree with me.
You just got to
Yeah.
stay consistent.
So here are the records. Okay, Strick went 7-6 last week.
Oh, nice, Strick.
I am
You're making money.
overall.
bit.
Overall, I am 51-31.
It's pretty good.
Rico is 37-45.
Not too great.
Well, I mean, in
It's time
grand
for a
scheme of
comeback.
things, you wouldn't be losing that much money. That's the way I look at it.
It's time for a comeback.
It is time for Rico did the best out of all of us. Well, Rico and I both went 8-5 this last week. Strick went 7-6, obviously. So let's go ahead and pause 10 seconds for station ID.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
All right, guys. Playoffs. The rankings came out last night.
I hate them.
How are we feeling? Any things we're pissed off at, or
I think it sounds about right. I would have moved TCU up to 5. I would have moved Michigan to 6. And I would move Alabama to 7.
6.
So you don't think it's right. So you don't think it's right.
Well, no, I think the top 4 is right. I'm just saying outside.
You're
top
putting
4 is right.
You're
Clemson's
putting
not
Clemson
fourth.
above Michigan.
I am. Who's Michigan played?
Who's Clemson played?
Clemson's played 3 top 25 schools.
3?
3.
Currently ranked?
3. Yes. Wake Forest, NC State,
Wake Forest
Syracuse.
got their breaks beat off by
ranked
Louisville.
football team.
Did
Ranked
you see
football team.
Rico's face?
Ranked football
This
team.
man said Wake
I
Forest.
wish you
This
would
man
Wake
said
Forest
Wake
is
Forest.
ranked.
Take your ACC bias off
I'm not
for just a
I'm
moment,
saying
Nate.
who
This man said
Clemson's
Wake
played
Forest
3
like
ranked
that's a
opponents.
game.
Who's
on the
Michigan
radio.
played?
Like that's a.
Are you
that's
guys
a
kidding
game.
me?
Seen Rico's
Who
face.
Michigan played?
Let me
I'd
look.
love to hear this gauntlet of a schedule.
Let me
Who's
look.
Ohio State played?
Let me look. You really gonna do that to you? You don't
But
mean
they've
that.
taken Who's Ohio
care
State
of
played?
You don't mean that.
How is Clemson not? They're undefeated.
You don't mean that.
What are we doing?
Statistically,
They're
we're talking
undefeated.
statistics.
They're
don't mean that.
undefeated.
Not just eye test.
They're undefeated.
Yes,
3
but-
ranked
but
opponents.
so are
TCU's
you?
undefeated.
Should we not?
and I think they should be 5.
should we?
I'm
not,
right there with you.
Michigan beat the brakes off of a 10th ranked Penn State team.
Oh my God!
That
Wake
gets you right
Forest
there.
and Penn State's the same football team.
Wake Forest would get the.
They're both
Wake-
trash.
Wake Forest would
They're
get
both trash.
No, Wake Forest would get the brakes beat off them by Penn State.
Absolutely not.
Sean Clifford would look like a Heisman
Not a
winner.
shot. No chance. Sam Hartman's the
Whoa.
better quarterback.
I'm sorry. How are they doing
I'm
right
not
now?
sold on Wake Forest.
Not too hot.
So you're sold on Penn
I'm
State?
not.
I'm not
at
Thank
all.
you.
I think
Thank
Penn
you.
State's the
They're
better
better
football
than-
team.
Thank
Wake
you.
Forest.
Wake
Thank
Forest.
you.
I think they're a better
Syracuse is
football-
better than both of them.
Syracuse should have beaten Clemson.
Syracuse,
I agree with that, but they
Syracuse
didn't.
just lost to Notre Dame, who was garbage.
Hey, also Notre Dame's going to beat Clemson this week.
Syracuse
might
just
happen.
lost to
I
Notre Dame,
can't.
who
I
was
cannot.
garbage.
might
I
happen.
cannot
That
wait
might
till
happen.
Notre Dame beats Clemson
They
this
might.
weekend.
They might. I'm not
They
saying.
just might do it.
I think they will.
Listen, I'm not
it's
saying.
it's taken longer now. Now, granted, you guys know I love Marcus Freeman, but as just an unbiased opinion, it's taken a long time for Marcus Freeman to start getting the wheels turning a little bit there at Notre Dame. They've struggled quite a bit this early on in the season. They're now starting to figure out that they need to be run heavy and that they need to focus on their defense. Also involve Michael Mayer the most out of the tight end for Notre Dame, the most out of any receiver.
I want to make myself clear. I'm not saying Clemson's going to make the playoff. I'm saying where it currently stands, they should be the 4th team, and they are. Let me run you through Michigan's.
Bro.
Let me run you through Michigan's schedule.
Hold on, I'm gonna mute you for a second because Clemson benched their quarterback in their last game. And you think they're the 4th best team in the nation? They can't even decide who their quarterback's going to be, and you think that they should be the 4th best team in the nation?
Because Michigan could decide.
They did.
They did.
So the first 2 games of the season, they literally didn't know their quarterback,
and they
so
decided
we're gonna
early.
throw a
No,
couple of scrubs out there.
Time out.
I'll take DJ Uiagalelei over either of their quarterbacks. Get out of here.
No. Michigan, despite what you want to believe, Nate, Michigan knew the moment that J.J. McCarthy got on campus that he was going to be their starting quarterback this season.
That's why
How'd that work out?
That's why
They
they
allowed.
How come they played them both? How come they had an open competition?
Because of course, they're going to have an open competition. It's
You
the
just
same
said
thing.
the second he walked
it is-
on, because that's
yes,
not true.
It's
Why
the
did they have an
second-
open
it
conversation
is the
then?
same thing
So
as
why'd they have an open
it's the same
conversation?
thing going as Nebraska did at the beginning of the season, saying, "Yep, Chuba Purdy's close with Casey Thompson."
Nick, they
Or
both started a game.
because that's the
But
way
that's-
that they ran it. They
That's
wanted to
why
run
they
it.
started JJ against Hawaii because then they could say,
that is
"Oh,
true.
he had
Hawaii
the better."
is a tough school.
So they could say,
Who they
"Oh,
play the next week?
they had the better
UConn.
game."
Wait. Okay, let me run you through this gauntlet of a schedule Michigan plays.
Clemson played Furman.
Colorado State, Hawaii, UConn, Maryland, Iowa, who they didn't cover the spread against. Indiana, the one test they had was Penn State, fraudulent. And then they played Michigan State, who's about to fire their coach they just gave $95 million to.
They are
Michigan
not
has
firing
played
their coach.
nobody.
You on the block.
Nobody.
They are
Tell 'em
not
what it is.
block.
They are not firing Mel Tucker.
Fight in here is a fight. Let's go.
They are
I
not
would.
firing Mel Tucker.
Me and Strick have talked about that. You're telling me you're confident with Mel Tucker right now?
If you would fire Jimbo Fisher, you wouldn't fire Mel Tucker.
I would fire Jimbo Fisher because he's been at that school
5
for multiple years. And it's shown no progress, regardless of how sexy and hot your recruiting classes are.
The point still stands. Who is Michigan playing?
Clemson's played Georgia Tech,
Dude,
Furman,
Michigan
Louisiana
has-
Tech, Wake Forest. Okay, I'll give you that, even though you almost lost because it took 2 overtimes to beat them. NC State, you only won by 10
It's 2
points.
ranked
You beat
opponents.
Boston College. Congratulations. Then you almost lost to a garbage Florida State team. And then you almost lost to Syracuse, who
3
you're
ranked
saying is
teams.
fraudulent.
I heard
Ooh,
3 ranked teams.
You heard 3.
Here's
You heard
the
3
thing.
ranked
I heard
teams.
3
We heard
ranked
Wake
teams.
Forest
Making
was
a case,
garbage.
Rico.
These
You're making a
Syracuse-
case.
Syracuse-
Let me know.
They're
So I
ranked.
did this.
They're
And
ranked.
Nate, I know you saw my tweet
I did
because
see
you
it.
liked the reply.
I did.
You liked the reply
I
from a
did.
Clemson fan.
Look at you checking the reply.
So here's
I
the
did.
deal. So somebody replied, a Clemson fan replied to my tweet.
Look at you.
So here we go. From a playoff standpoint, we act like it's a cardinal sin to put 2 teams from the same conference in the top 4, unless it's the SEC. Unless it's the SEC, we act like it's just this major crime,
You can't do
capital
it.
I
murder
agree.
to have 2 Big 10, 2 ACC, 2 Pac-12, 2 Big 12 teams in the top 4. That needs to stop. That needs to stop because
I
that's
agree
what
with
this,
that.
agree.
that
I
is
agree
what
with
this
that.
playoff model is about, is getting the 4 best teams. So
I think they got it right.
strength of schedule, you're grasping at straws here because statistically speaking, Clemson's strength of schedule 61st, Michigan's 66th. The
Seems pretty
difference
close.
is marginal.
Listen,
three
I'm
ranked
agreeing
teams.
with
No,
you. I'm
no,
talking
I
about
know.
why is everyone hating on Clemson? Because that's all I've seen is
It's
everyone
not that I'm hating on Clemson. I
crucifying
just don't think they
Clemson.
should be number 4.
So who should be?
Michigan. You know why? Because the numbers don't lie. Total offense, Michigan ranks 26 spots ahead of Clemson. Scoring offense, Michigan ranks 11 spots ahead of Clemson. Total defense, Michigan ranks 3rd in the country in total defense.
Read the response.
Clemson ranks 27th.
What's their average offensive ranking? 96.
97.
So you play the 97th best offense in the country.
Clemson's is
and you have the 3rd
77th.
best defense.
You're doing your job.
I literally just
Once
said that.
again,
It said Clemson has beat the teams in front of them, and then you just said that, you beat blah,
But
blah, blah.
we can't hold on
undefeated.
for the
Said the same thing.
They're undefeated.
the Clemson
You said,
side.
who was Michigan beat?
I'm just saying.
You can't play both sides of the coin.
I'm saying they got it right in this first one. The only thing I'm doing is defending the people that are saying, why is Michigan not 4? This is garbage. Clemson's 4. Listen, I think I probably am grasping at straws, but for people to crucify Clemson, I think it's ridiculous.
I'm not crucifying Clemson.
I think it's
I'm
ridiculous.
crucifying. Okay, I gotta be careful about that. I'm coming after
You're not crucifying anybody.
the playoff committee because time and time again,
I think they got
we're
it
just
Do the
throwing
same thing.
throwing a team in there
Yeah.
to see so that there's balance with conferences.
Yeah.
At some point, do your
Expand the
freaking.
playoff.
Well,
Are
no,
we
you're
just
gonna
throwing a
expand.
team in there?
Yeah, where's
I think the top
where's
four is right.
TCU?
Where's
They
I
have
said
two
TCU
ranked-
is
they have
5.
2 ranked
I
wins.
said TCU's 5.
High
The whole-
ranked.
the whole-
TCU's
I
5.
know.
High-ranked
That's
opponent.
That's why we're coming at the playoff committee in this discussion because there's no way that Alabama should be rated above TCU.
I agree with that.
But see,
I
they're
agree with
setting
that.
it up to where if Michigan loses to Ohio State, which I think they
Which
will,
is going to happen.
which is going to happen, Clemson
Should win out.
very well could lose to Notre Dame
What is it
or
about?
somebody else.
Okay.
Exactly.
What is it about?
But then you have
That's
your
unfortunate.
but then
I'm
you
with
have
you.
but then you have your 2 SEC teams in there with Alabama, Tennessee, and probably Georgia.
There is a way that TCU gets left out even if they go undefeated.
That's not going to happen.
There's
No,
a way.
there's a way.
There's a
not gonna
way.
happen. I'm telling you right now, they won't do that.
They're not. There doesn't
The final
matter
part of their
if
schedule is not
Alabama.
very
If
strong.
Alabama wins out, TCU's not jumping Alabama. Tennessee wins out. I don't know if they have to play. Well, they beat
Tennessee
Georgia.
plays Georgia.
They would
And
play
then
Tennessee or Georgia would be
was
left
gonna
out.
be
'cause they have to play.
yeah,
each
because
other.
they're going to have to play.
Then you gotta
and
worry
they're
about-
the same,
so
and they gotta play
There's a
Alabama.
chance that the
So
SEC
one of them-
champions.
so
ship
SEC champion
game
is in.
goes there.
SEC champion is in. Ohio State is in. Clemson is in.
And then it'd be
Alabama's
TCU.
in. TCU's not jumping Alabama if Alabama doesn't lose the rest of the season.
Yeah, no. If Alabama finishes with one
And
loss,
if
they're
Georgia,
staying in.
let's do this. Georgia beats Tennessee, right? Tennessee drops. Do you think TCU jumps them? They should. They probably won't. Yeah. Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC.
It depends on how much they lose.
See,
Alabama
beats Georgia in the SEC championship game. They're both in. Ohio State's in. Clemson's in. TCU's not in.
No, I agree. They would put in. They would. There's an opportunity here or a chance that they put 2 1-loss SEC teams in above an undefeated TCU.
They're not
team.
going to do that. I genuinely
no.
Why?
No, Nate.
I don't think
no. That's why they put Alabama at 6.
If Clemson stays undefeated and
Right.
Ohio State stays undefeated, which
That's
are 2
2.
very big possible,
Right.
They will be 1 and 2 in whatever order.
Probably
Probably
one
probably-
SEC and TCU.
I know. I
You're
don't.
not going to leave out a group of or a Power 5. The
They've done it
committee-
before,
No, they've never left out an undefeated Power 5.
but they've chosen
never
1-loss
done
teams
that.
in the SEC over 1-loss teams in the Big 12.
which I think is rightfully so. I think that there's a reason for that because the SEC, you look at the strength of the schedule, you look at the defenses, all that stuff. Yes, they have never left out an undefeated Power 5, and I don't think they will.
So you're telling me
That's
they would
crazy.
They're going to take TCU over 1-loss Georgia, who lost to Alabama in the SEC championship.
I think
game.
you have to. Yes, I really
There's no
do.
way that happens.
I think that they will.
They took Alabama, who didn't play in their conference championship game. You think they're leaving out an SEC team just for losing?
I think so. If they're undefeated, if you're undefeated. Now again,
They'll
TCU
find a way.
with one
They'll find a
loss-
way to validate it.
I'm on the same page as you guys. TCU, I think a 2-loss SEC school gets in over a 1-loss TCU. I'm on the same page there. An undefeated Power 5, you can't leave them out. You just can't.
I don't
Then
know.
what's the point? Like, might as well
I
just make
agree.
it
I
2
think it's
super
crazy.
conferences at this point.
Exactly.
Why do
That's
we?
what I'm going
Why
for.
do we
That's
even have?
That's
the 5?
exactly our point.
That's
Why
what
do
they're
we
doing.
have the 5? I don't think they'll
and
do
now
it.
and now here's the crazy thing. Now expansion will probably help it because you're going to be able to get the 6 versus 7 matches, the 5 versus 8, the 4 versus 9. Like you're going to be able to get those matches. Now, but at this moment right now, after last night's rankings, there's a way we sit here and go, what's wrong? What was completely wrong with the BCS model? Because it just took eye test. You didn't have eye test. That was the main thing that everybody wanted was the eye test when you brought in the whole like playoff committee.
The BCS was computers. The playoff committee is eye test now.
The computers never got it wrong with the statistics wise. Maybe it wasn't the best 2 teams.
Although the computers did put Alabama and LSU as a
They
rematch,
did.
which I hated.
They hated. But that was what they did because statistically, those were the 2 best teams. Maybe not eye test wise, and that was frustrating as a fan. But that's what it was. But here we are once again going. All right, is it eye test? Is it statistics? What is it? The parameters and what we value the most is being mismatched and crossed up, and it's just not consistent.
You
Other
guys
than,
might be
other
right,
than
but
the
I
other
don't
than
see-
the SEC reigns above all.
I don't see. Well, we already know that. I don't see any scenario that plays out where there's
Johnny Manziel.
I don't see any
But
scenario
right now,
that plays out.
but
they get left
right
out.
now,
They won't
Strick, the
leave them
Big
out.
Ten has the most value in their conference,
But
in terms of TV rights.
Right
what
now,
did Tom Cruise say? What did Tom Cruise say to what's my guy's name on the movie? Show me the money. That's all it's really about. It's the ones with the biggest moolah right now.
If
It's
it was
gonna
a-
get the biggest range, that's the SEC, and they
Yeah,
really ran
is
it.
the
if it were a 12-team playoff and the season ended today, there would be 5 SEC teams, 3 Pac-12 teams,
Which is ridiculous.
because LSU and Ole Miss are 10 and 11.
Get out of here.
I don't know how.
Get out of here. With
Who's
that.
But those are 10 or 11.
I'm sorry. Who was 10-11?
LSU and Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Exactly.
F-word.
Get the hell out.
Ole
of
Miss
here.
is the F
Fraudulent.
word. Fraudulent.
UCLA,
Ole Miss
USC,
is
Is
fraud.
Ole Miss or
is
is LSU? And now I understand
Both of
LSU
them.
I
beat
think both
Ole
of them are
Miss.
Both of
fraud.
them.
LSU smacked Ole Miss.
They did.
USC is number
But if
9.
that game's-
UCLA is number 12,
See, here's the thing: is if that game's at Ole Miss, I think it's a different story.
and then Oregon is like 8th.
Ole Miss look kind of bad.
Is that UCLA USC thing because of a transformation?
Maybe. Well, USC only has 1 loss.
I'm telling you, all right. I don't see any. I don't see any
Because of a
scenario they leave out an
transformation?
undefeated Power 5. No scenario.
If
No
if
matter
there's-
what happens.
see, there's no
You
way.
can't.
There is no way they'll leave an undefeated
They
TCU team out, or there's no way they'll put an undefeated TCU team in over a 1-loss Alabama.
There
I
are
think they
zero,
do.
There
I think they have to.
There are 0 ways in this world TCU jumps Alabama if Alabama does not lose or does
I
not
just
have
don't
a
agree.
1-score win
I just
in
don't
the
agree.
in the rest of the season.
I just don't agree. I don't
Which
think you
is
can leave out
which is
undefeated
why
teams.
they
You want to put some?
it's why they flip flop Georgia and Ohio State 3 and 2
Let's bet it up.
for this
Yeah.
exact
Dinner.
reason.
Wingstop.
Nah, we gotta wait to
It's
see how it
gonna be
plays out. It'll all play itself out. It always does.
Sometimes
It always does.
Sometimes
It always has.
That is
We've always had the play. It's always played itself out. Even Cincinnati got in.
And then they got embarrassed. And they got smacked. Yeah, and then they got smacked, rightfully so. All right, that's all for today. We are done for today. Make sure you hang out on the block with Strick and Nate's coming up next. Husker volleyball plays at 8 p.m. tonight. Make sure you tune into that. But we are done. We will talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.
Adios.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.